Algorithms are finicky bastards, and so even if you're subscribed to me, even if you've clicked the bell and gone through all the other rigmarole, even if you follow me on social media, you might not see what I'm up to. So I have a mailing list. Postmortem-studios-fan-group, which is a bit of a mouthful, but all you have to do is navigate your way there once at groups.google.com and subscribe, and then once a month you will get an email with everything that I've done in the previous month, and isn't that special? Hello lovelies, it's hot, it's too damn hot. I'm not built for heat. I'm British, for Christ's sake. I'm built for reading a book while swirling brandy in a glass in front of a roaring hearth in the deep winter, or I'm built for autumn. I'm built for rain, mist and fog, snow occasionally, not heat. Not heat at all, especially since I'm carrying a few extra pounds at the moment after a year of medically enforced indolence. So yeah, it's too damn hot. It looks like it's going to be the hottest summer on record here in the UK, at least since 2019, which isn't really that long ago when you think about it. Now, it's not the first massive heat wave I've lived through here in the UK. I spent the summer of 1976 in a bucket, my parents' novel solution for keeping their 1-year-old baby cool. That summer of 1976 was supposed to be a once-in-a-century deal, the previous comparable drought and heat wave having occurred in the 1860s. Some would say something like this should only happen every 350 years, according to our records. The advantage of living in an old and relatively stable country. You know about these things. But every year of the last 7 years globally has been the hottest on record, and we may be about to beat that again and beat all previous UK records with temperatures reaching 40 degrees. That's centigrade, so that's 104 Fahrenheit for you colonial primitives. In 1976, we had a Minister for Drought. There was a Drought Act passed by the government. There were hard-to-control wildfires across the UK, in heathland and in forests. The UK, usually known for its inclement weather, where about the only thing you can rely on is rain. Crops failed. That drove food inflation by over 10%. There were massive swarms of ladybirds. If you search around on YouTube, you can probably find old news items about that. They reached pestilential proportions, and these are normally things you like to see around, ladybugs. They look cute, they eat pests off your plants, but as the heat caused plants to die back, starving aphids died, and they'd had a mild spring, so there were a lot of them around. And then the ladybirds were suddenly denuded of their natural prey and formed huge swarms to migrate en masse looking for something to eat, and thereby becoming a pest. The heat caused thousands of excess deaths from heat exhaustion and strain, and we weren't in the middle of a pandemic when that happened. Here we are now in 2022, and we don't even seem to be trying to deal with this as we did in 1976. There's no special minister for anything. Everyone's far too distracted by a leadership competition. The temperatures are higher, the fire risk is higher. Amongst those vying for a position as Prime Minister, there are climate change deniers. Water companies are still dumping raw sewage into rivers and lakes without proper regulation, just when people are using rivers and lakes the most. Crops are being affected, not only by the heat, but by the fact that we don't have enough people to pick what we do have because of our little nationalistic spasm a few years ago. This on top of the war in Ukraine putting pressure on food prices and availability as well, and while various companies are reporting record profits while simultaneously gouging people who can ill afford their higher prices. Brexit is also causing problems in healthcare, and a heatwave will add to the strain on top of those 2 new COVID variants that seem to be ripping through the population with barely a peep of mitigation or even public awareness. And while we burn, and while things get worse and worse, the strident cries of the arch-capitalists and the climate deniers get louder and louder. The screeching of the COVID deniers gets louder and louder. The scoundrels dressed up as patriots crow and strut in the midst of a disaster of their own making, and nobody seems positioned to offer a political or economic alternative to the status quo. Just maybe a slightly slower slide into ruin. I'm going back to my bucket. Oh yeah, and this kind of positivity seems to have finally netted me 5,000 subs on YouTube, though uploading this will probably cause that to drop below 5k. Still, I should think of some way to celebrate in the midst of a slow-rolling apocalypse. So if you have any ideas on what I could do to celebrate this, maybe a live stream or something, I don't know, let me know. Muted Zang. My own dungeon with blackjack and hookers. A very simple and brutal print and fold pocket RPG for killing things, taking their stuff, engaging with nonsense, and spending your ill-gotten gains on ale and whores. No copyright or anything. Hack, share, upload. Just link back to me as a courtesy. Available at all the usual places.